And we're live with my good friend Gary Stockdale. Gary, I was thinking we haven't done this show for 7 years, but I don't think I've seen you in almost as many
No, I think we saw each other at a couple of gatherings.
since the pandemic.
I think so. I'm pretty sure I've seen your face since then. Yes.
You know,
When I did for sure. The most recent was over at Provenza's house for that concert, and
that's
you and
right.
Snuffy were there,
That's
uh,
right.
and that was a great evening. That was great fun.
That was. And we've had many, many evenings over the years where, aside from all the business stuff, we've had many evenings of parties and hanging out and soirees and all of
Yes, and
those good things.
I was on Women Who Write for a couple times.
You certainly were. You were also on this show when it was called The Road Taken, I think.
Yes, exactly. At your
And
old apartment, or maybe that's the same apartment.
no, no, no. I'm in Encino now, living with the
Ooh,
snuff and in a
nice.
beautiful house up on the hill. And no, no more townhouse in Montrose, where I used to
Excellent.
drag everybody out there to perform,
Well,
which you did.
that's close for me. I live in Eagle Rock, Glendale area.
Oh,
So
well, yeah, very close for you. Yeah, it was a great neighborhood. It was a it was a magical house.
that's
Magic
true.
happened there. Month after month, magic happened
Yeah,
there. You were part of that magic. But I was just telling you before we went live, and it's worth talking about because there might be people affected out there who don't know this as you did not. But
correct.
as of July 1st, I believe it is, Facebook is taking down every stinking live video that any of us have done over all of these years.
And I've heard nothing about this.
They do you check your notifications? Because they've
Well,
been
I
sending it in
do. I
Mm,
do. I think it's yeah, the notifications where they tell you who's just shared something with you and all that
yes.
stuff. Yes, I have not seen it.
Well then
I blame Trump.
well then maybe they're just doing it to me and pretending like they're doing it to everybody. But I've been warned
We
by
must
other
target Vicki Abelson.
well, I'll tell you, there has been targeting of me at times because of my big mouth and other things. There, on two occasions, they took down every one of my shows. Everyone took them down, and I had to. I can't even tell you if not for the kindness of strangers, I never would have gotten them back. But now they're all going to be gone anyway. But
Well, did you know? Are you on Substack?
I am not. I need to be. I'm not. I don't Substack.
Well, there's a couple of liberal bloggers there that have said that they've been blocked from some of their content on Facebook. Zuckerberg has decided he's batting for the other team now
Oh
and
yeah.
is making it difficult for the left.
Well, everybody I know that is political has been what do you call it when they put you in Facebook jail and they shut you down and do all that's Lee Sklar, poor Lee Sklar. He got shut down so many times.
Really?
Oh God, yeah. Yes, he's very outspoken politically, and he used to be really outspoken politically, and they just kept shutting him down.
But they don't
And
seem to be stopping the outspokenness on the other direction. So
no, they do not. No, they do not. But this thing with taking down live videos, they're claiming it's a storage problem. Now, do you remember the days when a hard drive used to contain about 5 kilobytes or whatever,
no,
right?
my first hard drive cost $200. It was a used hard drive from my Mac Plus, and it was 20 megabytes.
Yeah, 20 exactly. And I remember I was going to start this business where I was going to hook up musicians who
Uh-huh.
need like if they lost a drum or whatever. This is going back to 1989. And to have enough space for the computer's files, it was going to take two buildings to put the computer files. So for
Yep,
Facebook to say that they don't have enough space,
it's bullshit.
there is no space
Yeah,
anymore.
it's
There's
total bullshit.
yeah, it's crap. So what you need to do, Gary, is if you want to keep your shows, you got to download them
Well,
and do something else.
I have saved all the streaming shows I've done, but there's other Facebook Live things that I haven't saved, and so I should go through and find that. That'll only take 5 weeks.
Well, this is the thing. And, they started to tell it 3 months ago, and I bought this particular hard drive for the purpose, and I haven't even plugged it in yet.
Uh-oh.
And I really better get going. But, I realize I've been uh, I've been downloading my streaming shows because most of them are on YouTube and stuff anyway, and SoundCloud. But we're going to talk about, since the pandemic, I've been doing this Shooting the Shit show, and I don't put those anywhere else. So they're going to, and I want to download, they're like, as yours are, I assume, we're going to talk about it, minor slices of life that are current that really won't mean anything down the road because I'm just talking about what's
Right.
going on.
Now, what shit do you shoot on your Shooting the Shit?
I shoot a lot of shit. I shoot whatever I'm streaming and why I like it or why I don't. I make recommendations. I talk
like
about
that.
what's going on in the world. I talk about what's going on in my world. I complain a lot.
You stop.
But so Gary, so I didn't even know that you had, I told you are my very first guest that has ever had a show of their own, because I have turned down everyone with their own shows.
I didn't realize that was a no-no.
Well, only because I have tried all these years to present people that people aren't going to see on every other podcast or on Facebook all the time. So they're going to get to know somebody for the first time, or an aspect of that person that they didn't know. And so tell us about your show.
Well, first off, I'll make a caveat with that. The show we started doing was, when the pandemic happened in April, I had just finished. I was on a TV show as a singer.
It was March, by the way, because mine show started in March. Yeah.
Right. So in March, I had just finished doing. We were the last. I got cast on a TV show called Be Positive, as an old guy.
Oh, stop it! My stylist was the stylist on that show, Craig Ames. Do you know Craig?
I don't know. I was with a bunch of singers. We were old people on the bus, singing "Baby Got Back," and I got a speaking line, and it was James Burrows who was the director, and so it was very nice. But the day we finished shooting, nothing else then was shot after that anywhere. It was the beginning. That Sunday after that, I wanted to go to the gym. My wife says, "You're not going." So that's when it started. So there was no place for us to perform. So all my friends, one of my friends who I'm sure Dan Navarro, was
Dan wrote to me yesterday.
Oh, good. Well, he's an incredible person. I love him very much, and he had started doing it. So he said, "Get this mic, get this set up," and so I started doing it. We're on our 244th show now. We used to be obsessed about doing every week. Like we went on a cross country trip in 2022, but we still did it. Even if we were in the hotel lobby where we did it. And so, we do it. Sometimes we skip a lot of different weeks now and stuff like that. But it was just me performing songs. We would make a theme. We would go right. The last one I did was movies, music from TV and films. So I would do Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, and do A Time for Us from the Romeo and Juliet movie, which I'm trying to get my wife to watch. She says she doesn't understand Shakespeare, but that movie, I said, that movie will turn you.
Olivia Hussey in that movie, I became Facebook friends with her. She's somebody we lost. We're going to talk about people we've lost that we know, but she was the most beautiful Juliet and the most realistic. Incredible. Her and Len Whiting, that is the most gorgeous Shakespeare I've ever seen.
I totally agree.
Gorgeous.
Agree. And it really touched. I mean, I was just about graduating from high school then, so it was like this was a wonderful way, because it was one of the first times in any movie that they use people that are close to the actual ages of the characters. Because
exactly, she was 14.
Yeah, she was 14. Right.
As was I think, at the time.
Now Shakespeare would have been canceled.
And they would dump his show that he had put live on Facebook, and they would throw it away.
Right. Well, in those days, women did not play the women parts in Shakespeare's time.
That's right. Correct. Exactly.
So you had a 30-year-old man playing a 14-year-old girl.
It was with hairy legs, which is
Yes,
lovely.
right. Which would also get them canceled today.
So true, so true. So Gary, I started shooting the ship because I had nothing to do. I was alone. My son had just moved out. I had nothing to do. So I went live on Facebook 7 days a week for like months and months and months. And then I went to 5 days and then 4 days and then 3 days and two. And I've been once a week for the last, I don't know how many years. But everybody has a podcast now. So why did you, so you and your wife started this thing. Tell me why and what you do on it.
Well, what we do is we pick a topic. I mean, I've picked topics like sad or love or names, songs with names on them, and I'll do songs with names. I do a little background on the song. I talk about the song before I sing it, and I'll do an original tune or two during it. One of the greatest reasons we kept doing it is because my wife is a pre-K teacher. She teaches 1.5 to 3. She had a company called Portable Classroom with a lot of, it was like 6 kids, 2 teachers in a private home. And I call her the toddler whisperer. Her name's Danelle Stockdale. And she is just an amazing woman, but nothing to do with show business. So this was the only time we've ever done a show together. Because she'll sit over.
Wait, excuse me, Gary. How long have you two been married?
Well, it'll be 32 years in November.
Unbelievable. Fantastic.
Well, especially unbelievable because we are the only two. There's only one other couple in all of our families who ever kept a marriage together. My dad was married 5 times.
Oh my!
So I didn't get married till I was 42. It was like I was,
wow.
Yeah, it was, well, 41, I think, but it's like because I wanted to only do it once when I was like, struggling in the business. I didn't want to, I always told my mom, I don't think you'll ever be a grandma. I don't think, but now I have 2 girls. My older daughter is, I don't know if I can show you anything here, but she is an EDM artist, electronic dance music artist. Her artist name
Okay,
is
thank you for telling me because I'm old and I didn't even know what those initials stood for.
Electronic dance music is like
Okay.
like Dead Mouse, Skrillex, these artists who play these gigantic stadium, these gigantic festivals and stuff. They're raves. And she does, she writes her own music. It's not DJ. It's her own music, and it's very, very rhythmic and strong and dark and fun. But her artist name is Hades, but the A is upside down, so it looks like HVDES. She has played every big venue, Electric Daisy Carnival. She's played Red Rock. She's played
wow,
all kinds of places, and she's kicking ass out there. And she, of course, is all over social media. And whenever she has her friends over, everybody dresses in black. So and she has, and there's a very high whenever she and her friends are around. It's a very high TPSI index.
I don't know what TPSI is.
Tattoos per square inch.
Yes, I've seen your daughter.
And my younger daughter lives in Seattle, and she also loves tattoos. I took credit for this. My wife as well. We kept our kids alive and untattooed until 18. Both of them were challenges.
Yeah. My daughter has a few tattoos, which she hid from me for some time before.
How old was she when she got them?
The first one I think she got when she went to college. She was probably 19 or something.
Well, by that time, they have the right to do. My younger daughter has a full color picture of Freddie Mercury on her calf, going almost the entire length of her calf.
Oh, Snuffy's son Will is like that. He's got loads of
They all
things.
do. It's a different aesthetic. I don't understand. I was a hippie. Don't mess your
Me
body
too.
up,
Me too. Me too. We tie-dye the shirts, not our skin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's right. So let's get back to the pandemic. So the pandemic, I mean, not that your daughters aren't fascinating, because they are. And I love the fact that you have this family. I was an elder mom too. I didn't have my daughter until I was 42. I had my son at 38. You know, we're old parents.
Well, because our generation felt like, we were never growing up. We were kids. We were, you would never see, people of our age now then wearing T-shirts. You know, it's like they were,
No, our parents didn't wear T-shirts.
Right.
No. Well, my
Right.
father played tennis, so then he did. But yeah, no, no, I totally, that's totally true. I agree
Where
with
did you
that.
grow up? Where did you grow up? New
Um,
York, New
I
York
grew up in New
City,
York. Yeah, I
just
grew
like
up
I
in New York.
pictured it. Skyscrapers and everything.
Everything. Um, uh, Snuffy plays not on Intervisions on oh God. I just can't believe that I am
Fulfilling this first
the
finale.
before what's the album before Intervisions that's so Stevie's the one
Songs in
that
the Key of
thank
Life.
you. Songs in the Key of Life,
That's
yes.
after, yeah.
No, no, Songs in the Key of Life was before
After
Intervisions.
Intervisions.
It
Talk.
is?
It's Music of My Mind, Talking Book,
Oh,
Intervisions.
right. Talking Book was before Intervisions. Right, right, right,
Yeah.
right. Yes, he played on Songs of the Key of Life. All Day
Oh,
Supper.
fantastic.
Snuffy's on there, and Stevie says, "Play something funky. Play it
All
funky,
day sucker
Snuffy."
gonna fall you
Yeah, yeah,
love.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was
So, huh?
No, I just say Stevie and Donny Hathaway are my heroes. So
I just saw Stevie. I hadn't seen Stevie since the Garden opening for the Rolling Stones when he was little Stevie Wonder in 1971, I think it
oh
was.
my God.
And we just saw him again a few months ago. And he is just, there's just nobody like him. So is he one of the people that inspired you to?
Oh, and I wanted to sing I wanted to sing exactly like him. So I copied every riff that he did. Um, I remember one time I was on my way to a gig in Arizona, and I was seeing a friend of mine who was doing a play in Phoenix, and so I stopped there, and then I was going to drop some acid and drive through this park and sleep
Oh,
somewhere.
that
And then
sounds familiar.
as it was turning to dusk, my brakes went out, so I wound up having to stay right where I was, and I went and slept on the side of a mountain with a huge echo and just started singing Stevie Wonder stuff, and I kind of found my voice at that point.
Wow.
It was a beautiful beautiful time until until I heard a cop come up and go. I had to get through the brambles and get up there. I'm just sleeping.
Okay, so let me get we're all it's my fault. We're all over the place, but that's okay. Tell me again, the pandemic hit. What were you doing when the pandemic hit? Because the people who watch this show, Gary, are called the COVID crazies because they were the people with me every day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
When the lights went out, we were together every day. We
Yeah.
were here. So they understand this whole thing. So you were doing Be Positive. Were you booked to just do the one show?
Yeah, I just did the one show. I mean, I'm a freelance singer.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that I do. And so and so it was my friend Sally Stevens, who if you've never had her as a guest, you should definitely think about it. She is a singer who has sung since the 60s. She's still active. She's also a Renaissance woman, writer, poet. She just came up with a memoir of all the times she worked together with all the people she worked with. I mean, she was on the road with Burt Bacharach. She's amazing. Anyway, so she hired us, a bunch of us singers, to do this Be Positive thing, and that's one of the things I've done. I mean, the earlier in the year, I did a thing wearing pink choir robes on the Ellen Show,
Huh,
and
huh.
backing up Camila Cabello and
I was going to
stuff
ask
like
you
that.
about your Camila Cabello credit, what that was about.
Yeah, it was a song of hers. I can't remember the title of it now, but we all went on Ellen's show in pink choir robes and sang and clapped our hands and did all that stuff. They had it was a very diverse group. The other time they asked for a diverse group, I sang on the Academy Awards for under Mary J. Blige for the song for Mud. Was it Mudbone? What when no, what's uh it was an Academy Award nominated film, 2019, I want to say, or 2018 or something
I
like that.
remember when you did it. It was
Yeah.
in 2018 because it was before you did this show the last time.
And the problem was that, they said they wanted a really diverse people. So they had a couple old guys in there like me.
Mm.
They had, Hispanics, they had Asians, they had black people. But at one point, the choreographer like didn't seem to like me very much. And now I got back in and everything like that, but she was going to take me out, and I realized why. I look exactly like Jonathan Banks, who was the villain in that. He was a bald white guy with a
Wow.
goatee, and he was like this. It wasn't slave time, but he was like the racist guy. So, I think I just reminded her a little too much of the villain in the in the movie.
Oh, that's hysterical. And you've done a lot of singing on you've a session singing, and you did a big one with Justin Timberlake. What was that? Tell us about
Oh,
that.
that was my friend Edie Lehman, who's another singer like Sally, who's done everything. She was actually a character on General Hospital some years ago, some decades ago, and but anyway, so we were all. It was a song that Justin Timberlake was doing with Chris Stapleton called "Saying Something," and they recorded it live. No, and they had musicians all over the Bradbury building that were, had headphones, and it was going, and Justin and Chris would go up those metal elevators. You've been in the Bradbury building,
I
right?
haven't, but I saw the video.
Well, you would know the Bradbury building first. It was what was used where the guy lived in Blade Runner, the scientist
Oh,
guy that Daryl Hannah and Rutger Hauer came and kind of took over his place.
mm-hmm.
So that was filmed in the Bradbury building. But anyway, so we were a group of like 20 to 30 singers, and we shot it and then shot it and shot it. About 20 times we went through it, and but it was live from beginning to end, no cuts. They would follow him
Wow.
going up the elevator. They would follow where they're going. They would be, and they choreographed everything perfectly. It was really
Wow.
cool.
It was an amazing video. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and a good song too.
And a good song. And a good song. You've done lots of fun stuff. All right. So now I'm going to go back again. So
Okay.
you were doing because I'm going to find this out. So you did be positive. Your
Hmm.
wife told you you couldn't go to the gym.
Right.
And what did life become? Were you two home alone? Did you have your girls there? What?
No, no, my girls are my daughters were gone. My older daughter actually was going into rehab at the time,
Mhm.
in early January, and so we were together. My other daughter went up to Seattle, and so it was my wife and me, and so we would just have pot delivered and watch a lot of Bosch.
We watched Bosch too. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of Bosch watching. Um, were you productive early in this in this abroad? Were you productive early in the pandemic?
Well, we just before the pandemic started, we started my co-writers Spencer Green, who I've written two other musicals with. One that won the New York Fringe Festival called Bukowsical,
Right.
a musical about Charles Bukowski, which no one should ever do, and then we did one called Bumper Sticker for the Los Angeles Fringe Festival, and so we were working on a one-man musical that I was going to be in. Which eventually was called Showstopper. And we'd started writing it before the pandemic. And so during the pandemic, I worked on it. We worked on it together over Zoom and whatever. And it took a long time to write because, if we wind up talking about it, I'll tell you why it was difficult. But so I was
Well, tell
I
us
was
now. Don't tease us, Gary.
no, that'll be in the next the next Game Changers. We'll hear the story of that. So yeah, well, it's a one-man musical. Actually, our director and one of our co-writers, Matthew Leavitt, who has a theater company called The Sixth Act, had done some work with Spencer. Spencer was a comedy writer on Mad TV and in Living Color, and I met him through this thing called The Stump that I was on,
Spencer
which was
used to come to Women Who Write and hang in the back. I know Spencer, yes.
he's a lovely, lovely man,
Yes. Hmm.
and very, very funny and
Hmm.
dour and fun. But anyway, so Matt had this idea about an older Broadway composer, um, who's doing and then I wrote show of all the musicals that he's done throughout his life. And we figured that he probably, had maybe a couple of successes, but mostly flops. And that eventually, we were trying, well, do we do it as a pastiche? Do we do it as a comedy? Do we do it as a satire? And we just figured to really make it real. And so we had to write songs that felt like they were actually from actual musicals, and we had to create the idea of what that musical was and what its title was. And they sort of magically tell the story of his life as he's going through it. His divorce, his divorces, his estrangement with his daughter, his feeling that unless he could be as good as Stephen Sondheim, he was a failure. And that has a lot to do with what the show is about, is that, always feeling like you're never successful enough, which I know is not it's not true for anybody in show business.
Nobody. I've never had that feeling. I know
right.
Snuffy's never had that. I don't know anybody that's had that feeling.
Yeah. But anyway, so it and we threw out a lot of songs, a lot of song ideas, and we finally, finished a version of it that we did in early 2024 as a stage reading one night at what used to be NMI, New Musicals International. It used to be the Academy of New Musical Theater, and we did the reading there, and it turned out okay. So then,
when was that?
This was in March of 2024.
Oh, okay.
So we did that.
But you started this before the pandemic?
Oh yes. Mm. I mean, musicals take, if you.
Oh yeah.
Me, the quickest way to showbiz money is not through a musical.
It took me 13 years to write my book, Gary. I understand.
I know you. It's probably fantastic. I should read it.
You should.
What is your book called?
My book is called Don't Jump, Sex, Drugs, Rock and Roll, and My Fucking Mother.
Oh, yes, of course.
And Carl Reiner published my book, yeah.
Yes, I remember, yes. And I don't know why I don't have it and haven't read it yet, and I'm sorry.
Well, we'll make that right. We'll straighten that shit out.
Okay, excellent.
But so you guys start, so I know it takes a long time to get stuff done, especially musicals. I have someone in my workshop who's working on a musical, and I know it's, yeah.
Well, because it's like rewrite. There's a great book I just read about the making of Follies. It's called Everything Was Possible, and it's like, it's so okay. There's so many forces that need to happen. Now, the one good thing about a one-man musical is I didn't have to worry about any of the other cast members, and I didn't have to worry if someone was going to show up to rehearsals late, or anything like that.
So, okay, so you showcased this in 2024, and then I assume you did some more rewriting after that.
Yes. And so we talked to we were looking for a good theater. We looked around in the ensuing months for a good theater, and the Whitefire Theatre on Ventura has been,
I know it well.
Really great place. Brian Rasmussen, who owns it or runs it, is a wonderful guy, and we figured out a date to open, and our date was it was March 25th of 2025, and we figured on that sometime in late 2024. So so we were getting ready for that, and that was the Whitefire was the first theater that Penn and Teller, my friends Penn and Teller, played in when they were in Los Angeles, when they came.
Wow. Okay. You have a lot of Penn and Teller history. But before we get to that, maybe you want to play us something from this musical.
Sure.
And the musical is called Showstoppers, yes?
Showstopper, yes. And part of that is a double meaning because his shows were stopped many times, like many other shows get stopped. And so let me sing. Now, I haven't done the show for a few weeks. We closed May 26th. So if I screw up, then but this first song that I'm going to do is it's a song. It was supposedly from a musical of his that he did in his early days in his 20s. It was called Window Dressing. It was about a man who had potential as an artist, but didn't take enough chances and wound up dressing dummies for store windows. And then the cue line into the song is, and just one more little background piece of it. This is something about his journey, which is never feeling like he's got enough success. So this is this song that's called "The Get By Guy."
There you go.
Oh, I got to put on my reverb. Sorry. There we go.
We can't hear your piano, Gary.
You can't?
Oh
my God. Because I played it earlier for my wife, so I don't know why.
Yeah.
You're not hearing that.
Do it again. Now I do.
Oh, we'll make it louder, maybe.
Yeah.
You got it now?
No.
I just played it.
Nope, not. I see your hands moving.
Wow. Weird. I've tested it out with my wife earlier, and she
see, now we did a sound check, but we didn't check your piano.
We did not.
We did not.
Let me check one thing.
Okay.
This may put you in an echo for a moment, but tell me.
Okay, that's okay. Nope.
I don't know how it would be that didn't happen. Because the sound from the piano is coming out the exact same place where the mic sound is coming.
I can't, I'm blonde. I cannot explain why this is happening. I just know that it's so. Yeah, we have no piano.
Huh. Let me see if I can solve it.
Like as soon as you move your mouth away from the microphone, we have no vocal either. So we're only getting sound from your microphone.
Okay, so let's see. If I do this, you don't hear the microphone when I, right?
No, I didn't hear it for that second.
Yeah, okay. God, that's just crazy. Well, I don't know what to do here. It worked earlier.
Isn't that the case?
Let me see. What could be different?
I'm putting my picture back on so that I can wave at people.
You're not hearing this.
Not really. I heard like a couple of little sounds, but no, I'm not hearing piano playing.
Boy, that's really odd. Are you okay? Tell me if you hear this.
Not well. It doesn't sound good. I'm hearing like weird kind of sounds that aren't good. No.
Right. How could this be?
Can you play it with guitar or something?
Well, I can play another song with guitar, but the guitar, let me see if the guitar is coming through.
Okay. Sorry, everybody, but this is live internet TV. That's what happens. Things just kind of get weird.
Are you hearing this? Do you hear that now?
Yes, I did.
Oh, crazy. Okay, I wonder why that is.
Yes, it's like Tony said, it's cutting out, but it isn't really even cutting out because we're not even really hearing it at all.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Ah, you figured it out, huh?
I don't know if I figured it out, but I just put my original sound from musicians on. Are you hearing it now?
I hear that. I don't hear it. Yes, I hear that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I'll play one on guitar that I did. This was let's see. You getting that, right?
Yes. Andy said that you should try unplugging and replugging in. your piano, and maybe that.
Yeah, if it's coming through the sound system for me, it means it's coming through. But for some reason, I have no idea why it's not, because the only sound thing I'm going through is something called a software called Logic. And
right, sure.
That's where the sound's coming through. And if you're hearing the microphone, you should be hearing everything else that's coming out of there. So we might be able to figure it out. But let me play a guitar tune just so your people aren't bored to tears. So this song is a song from a musical he did called
Gary, turn up your vocal.
Okay. Well, the vocal's soft now.
It's all kind of not crystal clear anymore.
Wow. I don't think I changed it.
See, this is why we needed a sound check. And we were just chatting away. Okay.
You get that now?
Yeah, I think it'll be fine when you sing. I think it'll be louder when you sing.
All right, let me see. I can put a little more out on the stereo bus there. All right, tell me if this works. Oh, so it's so this show is called Water Cooler. Obviously, all the musicals in this show that he's talking about aren't real musicals, but it was called Water Cooler, and it was the blurb that he says before it. He says that I'll turn the reverb off for now. This was inspired by a New Yorker article about people trapped in the 9-to-5 rat race of it all, with every stupid written and unwritten rule about how to behave. When, as he says, when I wrote this, a secretary was definitely not a toy anymore. And then he says, I wrote it on guitar because I wanted more of a pop feel. Every morning there's Cher working in her cubicle. She looks so beautiful. In fact, she's suitable for framing. Now I don't want to cause disruption in the working place, and I respect her space. Besides, I'm scared to face the shaming. She'll think that I am a jerk. I shouldn't do this at work. And so I see her every day, but I'm too scared to say hello, even though she's only 10 feet away. I should know just what to do. I am a grown adult, but rules are difficult with consequences multiplying. But maybe in a way it's like protecting me from her rejecting me. I'd hate for her to see me crying. I guess I'll just have to hide, keep all my feelings inside, let them not show. But how can I even try? She'll see that look in my eye, and she'll know, even though she's only 10 feet away. 10 feet away, an insurmountable span, as far away as Japan, goes 3.333 yards, give or take. It may as well be a mile, a grueling trek up the Nile, every inch an ordeal as I feel my heart break. It's much better if I don't upset the apple cart. Don't listen to my heart, leave it to me to start. No trouble. I know the cost of my restraint will soon be reimbursed. I will put safety first, and I'll let nothing burst my bubble. But look, now she's up from her chair. Fluorescent light makes her hair just glow. And now she's walking this way, and then she smiles at me and says, hey, hello. Could I be less lonely now that she's less than only 10 feet away?
I love that. You have an amazing voice, Gary. I mean, I've always known that, but every time I hear it, it surprises me again. Yeah, an amazing voice.
Thank you.
That's a very sweet song.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Well, we were meant to hear that one. She's only 10 feet away.
I sure want to figure out why the piano don't work. Let me try one thing. If
okay.
there is
I know it's going to drive you crazy till you make that happen.
If it's coming out +1 +2 ST out, it should be just coming out normally.
Wait, now I can't hear you talking either. So now I'm just sitting. Oh, now I can hear it. What'd you do, Gary?
Well, I soloed it. So I think what I can do is solo the vocal and solo.
Well, I'm hearing your vocal just fine.
Okay, now.
Yeah. I got both.
I figured out a way to fix it. I put for you tech geeks out there, I put the piano in solo mode and the vocal in solo mode. So there's only two things coming out but that is very weird. It's it's like the thing that you have when you bring your tech guy over to fix something. It all of a sudden then it works.
Right, of course.
So, all right.
You have a toothache, you go to the dentist, and then it doesn't hurt.
Right.
Yeah. So let's hear the song you were going to play us before.
Good. Okay, let's do it. All right, here we go. Let me put my reverb on. There we go. So the setup is, what happens when life doesn't go as you planned? So many friends had great momentum that sent them to the top. There were times when I'd resent them, when my momentum went kerplop. Though it sucks to not succeed, don't let your poor heart bleed. You can get almost all you need when you live this simple creed. Listen up. Don't sweat it. You'll get by. The more you lower expectations, the higher you fly. Don't wallow in shame and guilt. Don't cry over milk that's spilt. Life's just a crazy quilt, but I don't have to sew it. No, it's better getting by. If at first through fifth you don't succeed, why try and try? I've learned to do it, so can you. It's easy as pie, so it's why I'm the get by guy. Let me tell you, I've been through it. Pushed aside and overlooked. I had my chances, but I blew it. Somehow I knew my goose was cooked. Things were dark as they could be. No solution could I see, till another birdie in a tree said this helpful song to me. Don't sweat, you'll get by. Let it go, 'cause you know sometimes dreams just die. Best laid plans that don't pan out, you'll learn to live without. So if your smile's all locked up in doubt, this little phrase will free it. See, it's better getting by. Eat it like a mantra, and it won't seem like a lie. I left the rat race, who needs that race? Wave it goodbye. So leave that uphill climb, underachieving, not a crime. Yes, you see why.
Gary, that I love that song so much. And about 30 seconds after you started singing it, we started getting a little static. And the static started building until it was almost intolerable. And I came back on the screen hoping you would see me going like this because I didn't.
I had my thing.
Yeah, your vocal still is all static now.
I don't. You know, I've been doing too much recording for shows.
Yeah, your vocals all static. So right whatever.
Now, still.
Yeah.
Well, let me go off.
Yeah, you need to get rid of your vocal and put it back in there.
What's this better? Better?
No, it's complete static for us now.
Well, I you know.
Are you? Do you have reverb on?
No,
still?
No, I don't.
Oh my God.
I don't have any static that I'm hearing.
Okay, we have total incomprehensible static.
Might be hold on a second.
We're having a lot of. Andy keeps saying reboot. That's been his. Tony said it's with the delay. It does sound like there's delay on.
Oh. Let's see.
Where you're still static. This is a show wrought with technical difficulties.
Crazy. All right. Then
no, we can't hear you, Gary.
You can't hear me.
Well, I mean, I can hear you through a little teeny voice through the static. It's just one big wall of static sound.
Now, sound static.
Now it sounds like different. Now it sounds mechanical. You know, this is somebody who does live shows every week.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And knows how to do this stuff. So I don't know why we're having.
How about this? Does it change anything?
It's getting a little better, but it still doesn't sound good.
It's still static.
No, now it's just odd sounding.
All right, and
it's a little it sounds reverby.
Now is static back?
No, you don't have static back, but you don't sound good.
Now I'm back on the original setting I was on before. So let me.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like it did before.
How about now?
No.
Now,
and it's better.
It's better getting by. Crap. So it is better now.
Yeah, now you're better.
Okay.
That was crazy because it was so frustrating because I could tell how fabulous the song is, but we couldn't enjoy it because it was so much static. It was loud.
Thank you. You still getting static now?
I'm not getting static. You could be louder though.
All right. Let's see. I'll get louder here.
Oh, that's better. That's
okay.
better.
All right. Okay. Go there. And then you still getting static with that?
We're not going to do that now, Gary. We're having too much bad luck with the music. Let's talk.
We're doing sound check.
We're doing yeah.
Well, I can always do another guitar song if you would like me to. So
we'll do that later. Let's talk. Let's talk for a bit. Yeah.
I apologize. Like I said, I've never seen that. What has happened from time to time is that Facebook will get wonky.
I have no doubt.
When you're broadcasting out, it will get wonky. But there was nothing. I mean, I'm not hearing anything. So as far as my
except I'm getting the signal. No, because I'm getting it through Restream. I'm not even watching the show through Facebook. I'm watching it through Restream, which is so no, that's
not. I know what Restream is. It's one of the two things. I use StreamYard when I do my own show.
Yeah, I'm a Restream person, but anyway, yeah. So I'm seeing the actual original audio thing, and
crazy.
Anyway. It's crazy. Let's
apologize. It never happened.
Don't worry about it. Let's not waste more time
story of my life, Vicki.
You know, I'll tell you, I have had one of the most annoying days. I have just been challenged and annoyed and I've had a very annoying day. I've had an annoying few days. I'm going to blame the stars, even though I think the stars are actually good.
I bring you static. Don't give me any static.
Don't give me any static. Don't give me any shade.
Yes.
So Gary, one of the things that you've done that is so close to my heart, and the last time we talked about it, I said the same thing, but for different reasons. I have been a cop rock fan from the get go, and it when we talked about it last time, it was before I had met Mike Finnegan, who I worshipped, but I had not gotten to know Mike Finnegan yet, and he subsequently has did my show, and I went to many of his gigs. He's a very good friend of Snuffy's, and he was, and anyway, love Mike Finnegan. Kathleen Wilhoit, big friend of mine. Love Kathleen.
She's amazing. Yes. Very,
And she
very
was
talented.
amazing on that show. Peter Onorati. I love Peter Onorati.
Yeah.
Amazing on that show. And Mike Post, who is the composer of note, is a very good friend of Snuffy's. So tell us, Gary, let's talk about Cop Rock a little bit, because you got to sing on Cop Rock.
Yes, I even learned it because I was going to do it, but if there's
yay. Oh boy. But of course now we can't hear your piano. Oh shit. No, we're not going to spend another 15 minutes.
No, that's crazy. So you can't hear the piano now.
Can't hear the piano.
Oh, well. There you go.
Wait. Do that again? No, we can't hear the piano.
All right. Well, I can play another guitar tune before we go, but not now.
Okay. So tell us about Cop Rock. And had you been on camera before prior to that?
Well, yeah, I'd been. I mean, I started out wanting to be an actor. I was at LA City College in the early 70s, wanting to be an actor and director. And of course, since I played piano, I started doing music for shows and then realized, oh, it's easier to make a buck as a musician than it is as an actor. So I started writing musicals and things like that. So I'd been on stage and I'd done a few film things and TV things and stuff like that. But what they were doing with Cop Rock is they wanted to use actual singers, not to have people, they could be singers who act, but they didn't want to, have somebody who didn't know what they were doing. So they had the person who played. So I got cast. I had known Mike because I was writing songs with another co-writer of his named Stephen
Mike Post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew Mike because he wrote with my friend Stephen Geyer. Who had written Greatest American Hero with, Believe It or Not, I'm Walking on Air.
William Cott did this show. Yeah. I love him. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so Stephen and he were friends. So I knew Mike, and I'd done a few sessions as a singer with him. And so I went in going, I know I'm not going to get this, which is always the best attitude to go into any audition with. It's like, fuck it, So I went in, and so I got cast as this drug-dealing cop killer for the opening show, which was scored, and the songs were by Randy Newman. I've worked with Randy too before, and I just, I love Randy. I'm a huge Randy Newman fan, and so it was great because I had two solo lines in this courtroom scene, and it was my friend Carl Anderson, who was the judge, who was, for those who don't know, he was Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar, and co-wrote, co-sang Friends and Lovers for, I think it wasn't General Hospital, so it was Our Days of Our Lives or something like that. It was the theme. Yeah, my friends Jay Gruska and Paul Gordon wrote that. Anyway, so
there was a theme to Days of Our Lives. I watched Days of Our Lives for years when I was a kid. I didn't even know it had a theme.
It may not have been a theme. It was on a show. It was like, and then it hit the pop charts. So it was a well-known song. It goes, when I'll be your friend and I'll be your lover. You don't have to be one or the other. It was Gloria Loring sang it. And
Gloria Loring
with Carl. So anyway, and my friend Louis Price played the foreman of the jury, all great singers, and we sang live. We didn't lip sync to our performances. They had the track played at a low enough volume, and we sang live. So everything you hear was actually being sung. We had body mics on and stuff. And this great director, Gregory Hoblet. And the great thing about the first episode was, again, that it was written by Randy Newman, who understands dramatic songwriting. The subsequent shows were done by perfectly good songwriters, but not people who know that the music in a musical has to tell the story, not comment on the story once the story's happened. And that's sort of what happened on the rest of the shows is, there'd be a scene, and then they'd sing about the scene instead of having the song itself be the
Be the
scene.
scene. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, in the first episode, it was that gorgeous song that Kathleen Wilhoit
Oh
sang, you
my
know.
God, that was just
Well, you had Randy Newman. So, I mean, even though the songwriters who wrote subsequently were good, it just didn't hold together. It didn't feel like a score. So, and the other thing is, it cost in 1990 $1 million a show to shoot it.
wow.
So unless it became a hit, they bailed on it. But it was like 6 or 7 episodes, something like
Right.
that. But my favorite thing is, um, Beavis and Butthead, used to show clips from television shows now and then. They'd sit there, go, look at that. So they showed our courtroom scene, and they go, look at that guy singing in the courtroom. So my wife saw it. She said, "You were on Beavis and Butthead." So
Wow.
it was my 5 minutes of fame.
Wow,
But it was
wow,
a gas.
wow.
It was a gas. It was really fun. Except one thing that's really funny is the lawyers were the prosecuting attorney was Armin Shimmerman, who's a well-known actor. He played Worf in one of the later Star Trek things, the guy with the big ears, the alien with the big ears. Maybe you were never a Star Trek fan.
I
I
was a
was
Star Trek fan, but
of
I was so
of the
high.
original, right?
Yeah,
Not
of
of
the
the other
original.
ones. Yeah,
Me
not of
too.
Deep Space Nine or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But my defense attorney was oh damn it, names escape me. The only if I ever get
Yeah.
Alzheimer's, it's going to take my friends 2 years to realize I actually have it. Um, um, I'll think of it, but he was the actor who played Seymour in the original Little Shop of Horrors on
Oh,
Broadway.
sure.
And
I can picture him exactly.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
great guy. I'll think of his name. But anyway,
Hmm.
so he was my lawyer, a seasoned Broadway professional. Now if you remember in the song, it goes, "He's guilty, judge, he's guilty," and then it goes, "Sonny, the end is coming." And I stand up and go, "I was abused as a child." And then he goes, "Sonny, the end is near. I was confused in every way." And I had a third line. "He got some hard times coming. I didn't know right from wrong." So, being a seasoned Broadway veteran, um, uh, uh, Lee Wilkoff, that's his name. So
I was
Lee
just trying to look it up. Yeah.
says to the director, I really think the lawyer should say he didn't know right from wrong. Now he didn't have a solo line, so I knew in his actor brain he was going, shit, I got to get a solo line. So he stole that line from me.
Oh,
Well, I mean, he was the seasoned professional. It was like, and I, so I didn't complain, but that's what happened. I mean, that's smart acting. That's showbiz professionalism
that's
right there.
showbiz, all right.
So he did the
So,
third line.
uh-huh. Well, I feel cop rock was before its time, and that's why it didn't find its place
It
because
did, but I do think it was because
mm,
the consistency of the dramatic songwriting didn't last past Randy Newman, even though they were serviceable and fine songs, but it didn't click. I thought it clicked on the first episode.
I loved it. Yeah. Yeah. I have to go back and look at them now and pay attention to that because one of the most memorable scenes is that Kathleen gorgeous song she has.
Well, it
And
was
also
totally dramatic, and it made the scene as opposed to commented on the scene.
mhm. Well, that makes sense. And I don't remember what the scene was, but I just remember Finnegan singing his ass off.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, yeah,
He was just singing his ass off. Yeah.
yeah.
It was
Did
great.
you ever act, Vicky?
Oh yes. I am a drama teacher. I got a
Oh,
degree in it.
hey. Are you
But
on
yes, I
film
did.
anywhere? Where would I see
Uh,
you in film?
Most recently, Henry Jaglom film, a couple of Henry Jaglom films. Really quick, I have a little scene with Michael Imperioli, but I was a stage actress when I was young, and if you blink on Saturday Night Live, I was on a few Saturday Night Lives like this fast,
Oh, fantastic. Well,
and
Harriet Schock was in one of Henry
that
Jaglom's
is
films too.
why I was in Henry Jaglom films because Harriet was a woman who
Ah,
write, and she talked about Henry Jaglom, and I went and chased him down, and he gave me
excellent.
a part in his film. Yeah.
Good, good, good. I can imagine why he would cast you.
Henry Henry used to badger me on Facebook for using the word fuck on social media, which was kind of my thing for a while because I could. And it was like, what does my language say about me? I wrote a piece about it for the Huffington Post, why I was using foul language on social media. It made him crazy. But then he put me in his film and he had me say it in the film. He insisted I say fuck in his film.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I did music to the movie The Aristocrats that Paul Provenza and
I know that you did. I love
about
that film.
about the world's dirtiest joke. So
Yes.
I always say to people, if you can be offended by anything, don't watch the film.
This is true.
Because there's one
and
joke.
Gilbert.
Oh,
Woo.
so amazing. The thing about that film that I really love is that if for those who don't know, it was the world's dirtiest joke told by every comedian you can think of.
Can you tell us a version of the joke that's not like over the top?
I don't think you can. No.
I don't think there is a version.
No, because
it's all
about it's all about really being just fucking outrageous. It's like, there's everybody tells a joke a different way. Some people include, it's the setup is it's an act who goes into a talent manager's office and he says, "Well, show us your act." And it's like the parents are fucking the children, and there's bodily functions and urine and shit. Yeah, I mean, it's really jazz for joke tellers. You just kind of make up.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's what it is. In fact, we were going to have more music in it, but music interfered with the improv of the thing. So there, no matter how liberal you are or you think you are, there's going to be one telling of the joke that you think goes too far. If it's racism is your thing, then that goes too far. If it's incest, then that goes too far. So you get to find out where your edge is, and that's always a good
Or
thing.
you could be offended many times watching that film.
Yes. Well, yeah, many. Well, I'm sure now everybody's offended by everything.
Well, that's true.
Back in my day, we could say fuck without getting canceled.
There you go. Yeah. So wait, where were you going with that with the Aristocrats?
Oh, because you were talking about fuck.
Oh, fuck. There you go. Okay, so another very interesting part of your story is Penn and Teller, and that changed a lot for you. So how did you connect with them? And you ended up having a long career with them.
I'm still great friends with them. The last thing I did with them was a show called it was with Teller. It was oh my God, there's balloons going
and
up.
I have no idea what made those balloons go up. Wow, that's AI, and I don't know why.
Wow. Well, we're all going to be taken over by AI. It's going to be the Terminator. So my friend Stephen Banks, you may know Stephen Banks.
I don't think so.
Stephen Banks has a character called Billy the Mime that he has done that is
my really, kids love him.
It's really crazy. It's white-faced mime, and he actually became a mime during that 15 minutes in late 70s when mime was cool, when Shields and Yarnell had a network variety television show.
Oh, different mime. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So he does mime. In mime, he tells the story of Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings, of Whitney Houston's suicide, of John F. Kennedy Jr. dying in the plane. He does the abortion, AIDS in San Francisco. And it is the darkest but funniest thing ever. And he also is in the Aristocrats, telling the Aristocrats joke in mime. But he was also head writer on SpongeBob for years, and was on Jimmy Neutron, a lot of cartoon shows, and he's an author as well and a playwright. And I went to high school with him. He's one of my dearest friends. So he was friends with Penn because they both they became friends and bonded because they had both been graduates of Clown College.
I wanted to go to Clown College so in Florida for Ringling Brothers.
There's still time.
No, I wanted to do that. Yeah.
So anyway, so he and I kind of, we didn't see each other for a number of years. Then we rekindled our friendship. We both grew up in Glendale. I graduated from Hoover High School, and so he was friends with Penn, and he had done this show called Stephen Banks Home Entertainment Center, which was on Showtime. It's streamable. It's really hilarious. And so he was closing his the live show version of it in Hollywood, and he brought Penn in, and we jammed afterwards, and it was one of those magic moments because Penn started, the song "No Particular Place to Go" by Chuck Berry.
Of course, no
So he
particular
starts.
place to go.
So we didn't practice or anything like that. And Penn just starts off, drop the corn right into the slot, and then we were all right on the downbeat, and everybody was playing. It was great. So I got to know Penn, and then I got a call from Penn about some months later saying, well, we're doing an NBC special. This is in 1990. Would you like to do the music? And I said, yes, I would. So they flew me out to New York, and we did this show that we shot in the 34th Street, this big 34th Street theater, which I can't remember the name of, which was originally owned by the Moonies or something. And then I just became their music person for about 25 years. And
Wow.
I did their live show. I did stuff on their live show. I did a TV stuff that they did, TV specials. I did 8 years of Penn and Teller bullshit.
Wow.
And then before that, we did a show called Sin City Spectacular, which was a live variety show with live dancers and singers and musicians, and it was one of the last of the true variety shows. Penn's motto was, "There's only one showbiz: lap dancer, ballet dancer. It's all showbiz."
That's fabulous. And so also, additionally, with Penn and Teller, you had this huge success with Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So I mean, that's an odd place to end up. How did you get there?
Well, Penn was friends with Nell Scovell,
Mm-hmm.
who the original person who did this a special of Sabrina the Teenage Witch was Jonathan Schmock,
Oh my gosh.
who's wonderful. But he was
Yes.
involved in this other show for, I think it was for Whit Thomas, and he couldn't get out of it. So Nell became the showrunner on Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and she brought in not only me to score it, but she brought in Penn and Teller and Debbie Harry to be the king and queen of the witches.
Wow.
And, but
Wow.
and so that was how I got to know, and Nell is now writing all kinds of wonderful, amazing things. And
Nell did Women Who Write. And I know Carolyn um, Ray.
Ray, she's
Yeah.
so funny. She's great, fantastic. Um, Pretty much, I think Paula Hart was having children so that they could be on television. Because she was sort of the quintessential stage mother of at the time.
Wow. And so, and you've done a lot of things on your own. You've scored quite a bit on television, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I did the sitcom that I did with Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Then I did Penn and Teller bullshit. I did Penn and Teller's thing, a whole lot of different cable shows, which I would have to go in my
Yeah, yeah, right. I was saying because there was lots of other
Wikipedia,
things that I know
but
that you did.
I was
Didn't
sort
you
of.
do SpongeBob?
I did a lot of cues for SpongeBob. I did this thing where Squidward was writing a symphony. So, all the noise that Patrick and SpongeBob were doing outside was incorporated into the score he did. So, and that was a comedy. I did a Krabby Patty commercial and some other stuff. And I did I did the theme to Tell the Truth, which was the version of To Tell the Truth with John O'Hurley and Paula Poundstone and
Wow.
Meshack Taylor. That was the best because you do the music once and then it plays in like two times in every market, and that was the most money I made for TV. And
Nice.
I before then I used to ghostwrite for Lalo Schifrin, who wrote Mission Impossible. Bum bum bum
Wow.
bum 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 bum.
Wow. We were
Yeah,
just saying that's like the most famous piece of music in cinema.
it's amazing. And in 5-4.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. That was, and I had another mentor too, because I had lived with, and first was, and I'm still friends with, Felice Mancini, who's one of the two twins of Henry, Felice and Monica. And so Henry became a mentor. I would go to
Mm.
him with questions. I sang on a lot of his movies, watched him conduct. I
Wow.
have a conducting baton of his, a bunch of his original
Wow.
scores, and he was just, you know, I mean, an amazing composer, amazing musician, amazing man. You know, loved Cuban cigars, loved good food, loved good wine. He just was a real connoisseur, raconteur,
Mm.
and overall amazing human being.
That's amazing that you had that relationship with him. How wonderful. So, Gary, before we go, we'll have you try, we'll have you do a guitar song
I'll
before
do
you
that.
go.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask you, so I have noticed that I have changed since the pandemic. I am a different person since the pandemic. I had a very social life, as you know, before. We both did. We were always running into each other at events, at soirees, at people's homes, at
Right.
movie screenings and clubs. And then everything stopped for quite a while. I have found that I'm not back in the saddle. And when I am out there in the world, I'm not the same person anymore. I'm not as so I'm shyer again
Hmm.
and more
Which is what,
reserved.
which is why you're doing 3 or 4 shows. No, I'm
Well,
just kidding. But it's like shy is not the adjective that I don't think
but
most
out in the
people.
world, I am, I
Interesting.
am though,
Hmm.
which is interesting. So, so how would you say that has the pandemic changed you? And if so, how? And if not, that's interesting too.
Well, a lot of it was, my daughter went through a lot of changes during the pandemic and good ones. Now she's in really amazing shape, and doing really well. And it was good for our marriage because we really just had to, there was very few distractions and it was just us together.
Hmm.
And we did some therapy during it, and it was, for us it was a really rewarding experience, and it just kind of
Wow.
blossomed us. One of the great things about my wife, and I guess maybe about both of us, is that whenever we had a problem, we would always try to get help. We'd always work on it. Because,
Hmm.
I mean, I don't come from any script that tells me how a marriage should go, and she doesn't either. Her mom was, is a lovely person, but she was married multiple times,
Hmm.
and so, it was, that's what it changed for them. Plus, um, I was, when the TV work started slowing down for me, I decided, because I was, doing demos to try and get new stuff, and that was like doing music and throwing it in the toilet because
Mm.
what was going to happen with it. So I would spend all this money and time. And I just said, if I'm going to go out there and get known for my own songs and music and performing, which is how I started in the business,
Hmm.
is it was time to do it then. So before the pandemic, I was out there performing. I was touring, drinking my car around, driving to different house concerts, all that stuff. It was a lot of traveling for not that much money. So if I was
Hmm.
in the high echelon, if I'd had a hit #1 record or something like that, if you have one hit, one hit
Right.
record, you'll have it, you'll work forever. But so I did that, and so that kind of wasn't rewarding enough. So I haven't done as many jobs. I am with this group called the Tribe,
I
and
know about it. We had Rosemary Butler on here a couple weeks ago.
oh, I love Rosie.
Yeah.
We're doing a big 10-year tribe celebration July 3rd at the Canyon Club. It
Hmm.
is the 10-year anniversary. We're doing a tribute to the Beach Boys.
Hmm.
I'm the vocal director on it, so I'm getting deep into Brian Wilson's vocal arranging
Wow.
and teaching all the parts. We have eight background singers, which we usually don't have, but because it's such rich writing. So we're doing that on July 3rd. Carney Wilson, Brian's daughter, is going to sing with us, who's a member of Wilson Phillips,
Is Rob involved?
Rob is not involved in the show itself. He's got too many other things going on. But he's, of course, and their daughter Lola is going to sing
Fabulous
in it as well. I think she yeah. So it's going to be a great big show. I'm doing a solo. We have Blondie Champlin coming in, who was in the one version of the Beach Boys, and Kara Lee. I don't know if you know Kara. She's an amazing singer. We do a show called a One Hit Wonders, which is like a tribute show, but not a tribute show to one band. It's a tribute show to all the
right.
We sang duets together. She's just a rockin' singer, just amazing. And then Carly Smithson, who was a finalist on American Idol.
American Idol, sure.
And Freebo and Alice Howe are going to be in the show, and of course John Pratt, and a whole bunch of people. So it's going to be a big show on July 3rd and it's a benefit too for a homeless and things. So.
Well, that's fabulous. And Gary, it's lovely to catch up with you. It's been a long time since I've seen you. It seemed like I used to bump into you everywhere. And I miss those days. I was saying today, I really miss it. It was quite a lovely community, and there was just always stuff going on, and there was always somebody to go hear play. And
right.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a lot less of that too. And of course, you acquired something else in the interim, a relationship that you're sort of dealing with that, and which is always something that sometimes. I mean, I was always out there social doing. Now I kind of like being home with my wife. I kind of like enjoying hanging out, especially because I teach now. Those who can't do.
No.
I teach vocals at LA College of Music, and
fabulous,
which is really cool. I mean, the kids are much. This is another subject, but kids are so fragile these days. I mean, I just think that they have emotional issues that we wouldn't have even thought of when we were kids.
Well, they've also been traumatized by. There was a 5-year void.
Yes,
that
for
traumatized
younger kids. Yeah, for sure. But I think there is it's like
even the kids that were. My daughter was in college, when it all started, and all of a sudden they don't have all of a sudden they're locked in a house. I don't know.
No,
I think
that's true. It was traumatic for everybody, but in general, though, it's like I don't remember anyone in school I was with who didn't get their work done because they had an anxiety attack. And if they did, nobody knew about it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Or not going to school, not coming to music college because your period is too intense or something. I mean,
oh yeah, that was going on.
Yeah, we wanted to be in theater college. We wanted to be there every day. If we were sick, we'd go anyway.
Right.
So I don't know. There is a difference, I think, in maybe we helicopter parents, imbued a bit too much. I mean, we grew up with no seatbelts, bumping around in the car.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. I mean, my mother didn't know where she never knew where I was or what I was doing. And
I knew where my kids were all the time.
Oh, I still know where my kids are all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Gary, it's been delightful to spend this time with you again. And I'm sorry we had some tech glitches, but why don't you take us out?
I feel so bad that was the case.
We're on Facebook. Who gives a fuck? It's fine. It is what it is. It's going to be on YouTube forever, but so what?
It's okay. I mean, I just feel like I feel like there was more we could have done musically, but are you hearing the guitar?
No.
All right, let's try again here.
Here we go again.
That I think we can do it this way, but we'll find out.
I hope so.
No, I'm not going to solo that. I am going to solo this. Now you hear it, right?
It started. So there was no place for us to perform. So one of my friends.
Oh, gosh.
Wait a minute. I'm getting like.
Yeah, that's weird.
Whoa, whoa, what's going on? I'm getting the playback. I wasn't hearing you guitar, no.
Okay, it should come up.
I went to answer. So Tim Finnegan said the poor kids are also sensing the crap that's going on in our country and the world, which is true too.
Probably very true.
I think that's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now are you hearing the guitar?
No, we're not. Do it again. No. Oh my God, Gary.
It's too crazy, huh? This is okay. Let me see if that works. Do you hear this? The voice.
I'm going to make you sing a cappella next.
I will do it. I'm happy to do it. So do you hear my voice still?
Yes.
Okay. Do you hear the guitar?
Not well, but yeah. It's not clear.
Yes, no.
No.
Oh well, all right. I'll sing a cappella.
There you go. You can do it. I'm going away. I'm going to put you in solo.
That's where I've been all day. All right. So when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, whispering words of wisdom, let it be. And though we may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
That was gorgeous, Gary. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trooper pulled it out in the end. I look forward to hearing you play live. Maybe we'll be at that Tribe gig, and keep us abreast. And
I would love that. I would let us know if you need anything. I'll get you in. So
thank you so much, Gary. It was wonderful to see you. It's been way too long.
Yes, and please say hello and send my best to Snuffy.
I will. I will.
And
thank you.
I love you. You are fantastic.
I love you back. I hope I see you